Welcome to Garden Talk with your local growing experts from Bookcliff Gardens, where we help you grow.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Mona Dyer, and this is Garden Talk brought to you by Bookcliff Gardens, where we help you grow. We're talking about gardening this morning. If you've got a question, something on your mind, please give us a call. Our number here is 245-1100. 245-1100. Well, we've been doing reruns here for just a little while. My cohort, Steph Grigg, she was off first weekend, was on a river rafting trip. And then the weekend after that, my other compatriot, Bertie Bertroyce, she had a birthday, and so her hubby took her off on a fishing trip, so that was kind of cool. Then last weekend was, of course, Labor Day weekend, and another little break was taken there by station staff, and we were a little busy at the garden center. So, thanks for being patient. We just had to do a little bit of reruns there for a bit, but we're back live now. Bertie will be in the studio here just shortly. She is running just a tad late this morning, but she'll be in just very soon. We've got a beautiful week ahead. This weekend is going to be sunny and warm. We're looking for a high today around 92 degrees. Sunday and Monday is going to be again mostly sunny with highs in the low 90s. For Delta, the highs around Delta Montrose is going to be around 85 today through the mid part of the week. Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be a bit cooler with a chance of some thunder showers. Cooler temperatures with highs in the mid 80s by this time next week. So that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm right now loving the nighttime temperatures. Nice and crisp first thing in the morning. Just feels awesome out there. Precipitation wise, we are in pretty decent shape for this time of year. We're sitting here in Grand Junction at 6.38 of an inch total for the year. That is just shy of a half inch ahead of what the average precipitation is for this time of year. So we're in really good shape. Pretty proud of that. Right now we are just looking for just a little more rain. We had that nice monsoonal moisture that waved through at us here about 10 days ago, and it sure did make a nice difference. I know the flower gardens and things really appreciated that little extra bit of moisture. But the weeds also appreciated the moisture. I have some kochia out in the side yard that is looking exceedingly healthy right now. I'm thinking I might need to get out there with maybe a hatchet. I don't think a tractor or a chainsaw is going to be necessary to get them pulled out, but maybe a hatchet is going to be one of the tools that is going to be necessary. So lots going on right now at Bookcliff Gardens. Bookcliff's annual fall clearance sale is going to be wrapping up this weekend. The 2024 nursery stock, that's the trees, the shrubs, the vines, the roses, the natives, and the perennials are all 40% off through Sunday. We also have a special going on the pottery and the fountains, statuary, those kinds of things are 20% off. So if you've got a few minutes this weekend, come out, take a look, see what we have, and bring a pickup because you might find all kinds of things. Everything nursery stock wise that is left over after the clearance sale, we typically will bundle all of that stuff up coming in October and donate that to the Tri-River Extension Master Gardeners Auction. And all of the things that are left over from the 2024 nursery stock will be contributed to that Master Gardeners Auction, and the proceeds from that auction are used to help with the educational training for Mesa County's master gardeners. So it's kind of a cool deal. So you can get a really good deal at Bookcliff Gardens during this final sale. Or you can wait until the Master Gardeners auction that comes up in October and we can, you can help the community and get a good deal on plants that way as well. Bertie has gotten here. Good morning, Bertie.
Good morning, everybody.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
I have to tell you, I'm impressed that you actually got to sleep in and have a 4-year-old in the house.
It was interesting. First off, the 4-year-old is at his grandparents'.
That's how that happened.
So that's how that happened.
The only other thing I could think of was the little rascal escaped out a window.
He has yet to figure out how to open the windows, so that has yet to happen.
Okay, well, on my drive over here, I thought, I hope he's in the house.
No, he wasn't in the house.
Okay,
that's why we got to sleep.
That's why you got to sleep in. Well, good. So, you've had lots of things happening at the garden center this week. Tell us what's happened with you.
So, I guess primarily we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of sales going out, but what's nice is since we're clearing out a lot of space, we've got a bunch of new arrivals. So as soon as the sale ends, those are going to be hitting the floor for everybody to see.
Right. And a lot of the stuff that is arriving typically would be stuff that wouldn't get here until next spring.
Right.
So people are going to have a chance to see things that's actually 2025 stock.
Mm-hmm.
So
you get the first pick, first dibs. Everything is going to go on the floor. New exciting stuff. We're also getting some holiday stuff in, trying to get in the festive spirit for fall.
Mm-hmm. So some of the new stuff that came in, I know just before Labor Day, there was a great big truck that came in.
Yes,
it was
there
like,
was.
What was it, 26,000?
Pounds?
It amounted to 12 tons of
Pretty
concrete
much.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
came in. What was on that truck?
That is pottery, statuary, some brand new fountains that we've never carried before, so we're really excited about that. Mostly, let's see, bird baths are going to be on there. Mostly what we usually carry, but in whole new styles. We're hoping to try some really cool new stuff.
That's awesome. Bertie has become the mistress of all things heavy.
The yard guys are very mad at me because of it.
Some of this stuff weighs like 1,200 pounds. It's like, no, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. The guys look at these pallets of things and they roll their eyes. You can just see them cinching up their trusses, trying to keep the hernia from happening.
I don't know. As soon as I told all the guys coming in that it was the day to unload all of that, their faces kind of dropped, and I think they drank an extra cup of coffee.
It probably was necessary.
It was.
The poor guys. And I got to tell you, I really get a kick out of Paige. Paige is a young lady that earlier in the season was helping with our custom baskets and helping Melissa Turner, who kind of ramrods that portion of the operation. And Paige has now kind of transitioned a little bit and is doing more stuff out in the yard. Mm-hmm. And she was out there this week. She was running that forklift and the tractor and getting stuff unloaded, and she's so tender and gentle with that forklift. She just really is careful. She gets it right down on the ground and is just really gentle with it, which is a bit kind of a switch, because some of those boys just they
floor it and
yeah, and they don't have really a depth perception.
No, they don't.
And a matter of 1 inch can break some really fragile things.
Yes.
Now Paige she's a gem on that
She's
tractor.
doing great.
She is doing great. So yeah, it's been fun to watch. The other thing that happened this week at the nurseries, we did get in a couple truckloads of brand new 2025 nursery stock.
Oh, and they're gorgeous.
They are gorgeous. We got some beautiful new perennials. I believe the perennials came in last week. Flowery, beautiful, just gorgeous, lovely stuff. But in addition, we also did get nursery stock of trees and shrubs. We got in some fresh aspen trees. We got some crabapple trees. We got, what else is out there?
Sensation box elders.
Yep, some box elders.
We got I think we got a couple of red buds out there as well.
Right. And then on the
magnolias.
The magnolias, boy, the magnolias are really looking, there's some tall ones out there. I'm thinking they must be boy, 7 or 8 foot tall. They're pretty big. The shrubs, we got some fresh lilacs in. We got some, oh golly, what are they? I can't.
There's some lilacs. There's some gooseberries.
Yeah, I saw the phone flashing. We've got a caller on line 1. Good morning, line 1. How can we help?
Hi, Mona.
Hi. Good morning, Debbie. How can we help?
I am coming down there and buying some roses.
Yep.
And I'm sorry I flipped out like the last time we talked when I was like all worried about all the weeds, and I said I was going to have to hire somebody.
Did you get out there and pull them?
What?
Did you go out and pull weeds?
No. No. Well, I'm trying not to get any more weeds.
Okay, there you go. That's the way to do it.
But I hired a handyman to come and weed whack all that Bermuda grass, I think. And that made it so much more beautiful and tidy. And then he sort of he trimmed my lower tree branches and weed whacked all the stuff in the wild area. And it was the best $300 I have ever spent. He worked for 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep. If you can find a good handyman that you can kind of guide them and help them understand what you are looking to have done.
He listened so good when I said, okay, this and that. He listened, and then I tried to repeat myself later. He goes, I already know what you want.
There you go. Yep, go in there.
And then he went and did it.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You have a great day. Yeah, and she's exactly right. If you have something that just feels like it's gotten out of hand, find somebody who can help you and get it under control. Then you can take care of it on yourself moving forward, because this truly is the time to get those weedy things under control. If they're allowed to go to seed, then you really will have a much bigger problem moving forward.
Especially next year when all of those go to seed, or those go to germinate themselves and produce even more seeds.
Absolutely. We had a big patch of grass that popped up. It's not actually on our property. It's in the kind of in the borrow ditch. And so we had someone come and spray that for us. And probably here, I want to say probably in the next 10 days or so, we'll be going out there and with the torch and burning that off. Because we live on enough acreage that we are allowed to set fire to it, thankfully. And can get it taken care of that way. Otherwise, we'd be out there kind of trying to rake it up and get those weeds taken care of. But being able to burn it is one way to do it. And we always try to make sure to let our neighbors know that we're doing it so that they can turn off their coolers and whatever, so it doesn't bring smoke into their home, because that's annoying.
I gotta love ditch burning season.
Yeah, open burning season. So, all right. Well, we are up against our first commercial break. If you've got a question, something on your mind, we hope you'll call us. Our number is 245-1100, 245-1100. Along with Bertie Bertroyce, I'm Mona Dyer. This is Garden Talk. We'll be right back.
As your American Family Insurance agent, I'm looking out for what matters to you. This is Rick Nelson, agent in Grand Junction. Let's talk about all your insurance needs today.
Rick Nelson and American Family Insurance has an experienced team of professionals. Great discounts offered for good drivers and bundled policies. For a free, no-obligation quote, contact your American Family agent, Rick Nelson, and his team at 970-241-0078.
American Family Insurance. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Life's hard enough. It's even harder without a reliable car. KNZZ understands. We're teaming up with Antonelli's Advanced Automotive to let someone buy a car for $1, and you can help. That's right. Someone you nominate could win the chance to buy a solid, dependable used vehicle for $1. Just send us the name, age, and phone number of the person or family you're nominating, and tell us in 150 words or less why they deserve the car. Nominees must be 18 or older. Deadline is Friday, September 13th at midnight. For complete details, visit 1100knzz.com.
You like having choices. Now you have a new choice for auto body repair in Grand Junction. TNT Collision Centers is locally owned, 18,000 square foot state-of-the-art collision shop featuring the latest technology to repair any vehicle. They're ICAR certified, and they're so confident in their work that they offer a lifetime guarantee on repairs. Make the right choice. TNT Collision Centers on the corner of Patterson Road and Highway 6 and 50.
TNT Collision Center for collision repair. TNT is there. ComWest.
Reports show that 49% of customers had bad customer experiences in the past year compared to the year before. That is a sad state. This is Nathan with ComWest. Our team isn't focused on shiny, we're focused on service because we know that your business technology is only as good as the support you have behind it. There is a difference. Visit our website and read the testimonials from local businesses who have experienced the ComWest difference for themselves. ComWest, one call, one team, one goal, helping your business grow.
Hi, Motorcycle Accessories.
Hey, my bike's a mess. I need something to clean it up.
Muck Off.
Did you just tell me to...
No, I said muck. M-U-C. We carry Muck Off, and it's amazing stuff.
Oh, okay. Say, is it true that old helmets need to be replaced?
Yeah, they should be replaced every 5 years. Motorcycle Accessories has a great selection of helmets for street bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs, and UTVs.
Guess I'll be coming to see you.
And don't forget, tell all your friends, Muck Off.
I gotta do that.
Motorcycle Accessories, 2060 East Main. The guys who have everything.
This is the Chef of Love, Chef Jannard, TV host and restaurateur. My grandparents harvested their land to sell food and share this overflowing bounty with our community. Grandma said, for every yam we pick, we give one away. In the world they cultivated, I love preparing and eating dinner with my family on Sundays. When our resources changed, food assistance programs sustained us. They gave me fuel to start my first culinary business at 16 years old, and inspiration to donate the extra food in my community. Through my life, I've developed an appetite to work with others to ensure everyone has access to the nutritious food we need to thrive. Together, we can help end hunger. Come on, join the movement with Feeding America by volunteering, donating, and advocating. Learn more at feedingamerica.org/act now.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Our story begins in 2016 when Scarlett Whitmore was born without a fibula bone in her right leg. Scarlett's grandpa, Paul Bristol, wanted to honor his granddaughter while committing to help local veterans. And that's the brief story of how Scarlett's Way came to be. Uniting veterans who have lost limbs in combat with kids born with fibular hemophilia, Scarlett's Way is a unique nonprofit that bridges generations and provides hope to all. If you'd like to learn more about Scarlett's Way, visit the website nolimitssw.org.
NBC Grand Radio shares this message to support our community.
KNZZ is news at the top and 30 minutes past the hour, 24/7. News Radio 1100. KNZZ.
Welcome back to Garden Talk with your hosts from Booklift Gardens.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Along with Bertie Bertroyce, I'm Mona Dyer. We're talking about gardening today. If you've got a question, something on your mind, call us. We'd love to talk to you. So, Bertie, you were saying that you've had lots of questions this week from folks about tree trimming. And being our resident arborist, what's your answer? What's the deal with tree trimming?
So tree trimming is always a challenge, especially because some trees get stressed out more than others with a little bit of additional trimming. The best time I always tell people is in between November and January when the tree is asleep. The nice thing about that are there are no leaves on the tree, so you can physically see what you're trimming out. On top of that, it's like waking up with a brand new hairdo, so it doesn't feel too stressed out or uncomfortable. So it's a nice time to trim without stressing and causing any further damage.
Pruning for virtually any plant is a growth stimulator. And I think what you're saying is by pruning the trees when they are sleepy, it makes it so that they don't have any kind of an adverse effect.
Right. So especially with like ash trees, that waking up with that new haircut can actually cause them to not stress out as much, and it doesn't cause them to go on to a full-on growth cycle.
Right. So, pruning trees, there are some folks that will argue, well, if there's a branch or a limb that's really pestering you, maybe the time to prune it is when the saw is sharp. And that's if the tree is really in good health, and there's something that's maybe out of whack, or there's damage or the potential for either damage to the tree or damage to property.
Right.
Perhaps there's some sort of a rehabilitative thing that needs to happen. But if this is just something that is an aesthetic kind of pruning, then maybe wait, be patient, and get in there and do that kind of maintenance pruning. Just wait.
Oh, absolutely. If your tree is healthy and robust, then it can definitely handle that. But if it's in decline or you have a limb that's hanging over your roof, well, that might be one you want to get rid of.
Right.
One thing I always tell everybody is don't leave a stub. Like, if you're going to cut a tree, cut it back to its next connecting joint, which is either going to be the tree or the trunk of the tree itself or a branch.
Right.
Always take it back. You're going to cause more injury to that tree if you leave it stubbed out like that.
Right. And a way to think about that is you want to prune to, I call it prune to a bud. As Steph puts it, you prune it back to the next branch, but you're pruning it to a branch that's pointing a direction that you want that tree to continue to grow. Or if it's a small branch and you'd like to maintain a little bit of growth in that direction, you prune back to a small twig that is pointing the direction you want that plant to continue, because you can guide the continued growth of that plant simply by using the bud growth on a branch as a means of helping it do what you would prefer it to do.
All right.
Any little leaves or twigs that you see that are popping out maybe on the trunk of a tree or in between well-established branches, on the trunk in between well-established branches, certainly get those out of there, because those tiny twigs will continue to grow and eventually become great big branches that can eventually cause you some problem. There's too much crowding on the trunk of a tree. Take those little bitty guys off of there, and if it's just a series of little leaves, it's easy to do. It's as simple as putting on a pair of gloves or just picking those little leaves off of there to help prevent the growth of that little branch.
All right, the biggest reason that we have, or I shouldn't say the biggest reason, but one of the biggest reasons that we have trees split is physically because of these branches that grow into each other. They cause what's called included bark. That weakens your tree joint, and all of a sudden, next windstorm, you have a bunch of limbs down and a gigantic split down your tree.
Right. Included bark, all that means is that the branches have grown with a crotch that's too tight together, and each of those branches has its own bark around it. As the circumference of each of those branches increases, the bark also increases, and so it becomes a fold of bark between those two branches, and so it may look like one great big sturdy branch, but there is a ridge of bark in between that it's a very weak structure that is there on those branches, and the weight out at the far end is not that weak branching can't support the weight that's at the far end. So you get this terrible splitting, and it's just better to keep an eye out, watch what's going on with the structure of that tree, and help the tree avoid that kind of a problem from the onset.
Oh, yeah. And if you have questions, feel free to send pictures or come in with pictures. We can always direct you to what branches need to go.
It's once you understand what to look for, it's I'm the picture drawer. People go home, they laugh because I sent them home with refrigerator art. Birdie is real good about explaining it in words. I send them home with refrigerator art.
And I've started doing the same thing because I've gotten a few people where I do get a glazed over look when I'm talking to them. So giving them that description as well as refrigerator art really brings it home.
Yeah, refrigerator art. It's a good thing. So with the cooler nights and the little bit shorter days that we're starting to have now, if you look around the valley, you can start to see a little bit of a shift in the color of the tree leaves. And so I'm a big believer in making do with what you've got. If you've got a whole yard full of lovely trees that are going to start dropping leaves in your yard here before very long, think about saving those leaves to use as mulch in your flower beds and in your vegetable gardens.
Yes.
As those leaves drop, and you want to, hopefully those leaves will be dry as they come down out of the trees. But using those leaves as a mulch in the flower beds or to mix back into your vegetable garden or even to cover your garden with is a great idea to reuse the carbon that's in those leaves and to keep your ground covered and a little bit safer. A really slick trick for reusing the leaves that fall is to rake those leaves onto a tarp and kind of, drag them away a little bit so that you can get your lawn mowed, do whatever it is you need to do to mow your lawn. And then sprinkle the leaves, spread the leaves back out again, roll your lawnmower over those leaves with the mulching attachment, then rake the leaves back onto the tarp again, and haul the tarp over to your flower bed.
Oh, it makes a gorgeous mulch like that.
It's a beautiful mulch, and it's nice and fluffy. It's breathable, so it's not going to smother the roots of your garden plants, your shrubs or your roses or whatever. The very awesome thing about using those leaves is that the leaves over the course of the winter, they're going to start to degrade because you chop them into little pieces. And because they're chopped up, they don't lock together and pack down.
And make that waterproof mat.
Make that waterproof mat. So by mulching them, it keeps them fluffed up. And over the course of winter, they begin to degrade and decompose. And by spring, they've almost completely disappeared. They've fed the soil.
Not only the soil, they've also fed the worms. You're going to have a lot of happy worms.
Those worms are there's going to be a worm party.
There will be.
A worm party. And they will be protected from the deepest of the cold. They will have something yummy to munch on. They are dragging little bits and pieces of those leaves down into the soil to help feed the additional biology. So the worms are the great big livestock in the soil.
Right.
They're dragging those bits of organic matter down into the soil to help feed the rest of the biology down there, right down to the itty-bitty microbes that live there. And then the leftovers from that feed the fungi that live down there. You're building such an amazing biome down there that it's just
right.
So don't waste the leaves. Even if you don't have time to deal with them right away, find some place to haul them. Yeah, haul them to the side, cover them with a tarp. I don't want to advise you to be stingy, but be stingy. And then
They're your leaves.
They're your leaves, and find a way to kind of crunch them up and use them to your best use. You spent all summer growing them. So why not reap the benefit of that wonderful thing that your trees made for you?
It's very beneficial. You can have your kids even crunch them up. There is an art to having your kids jump in the pile of leaves.
Well, okay. You know, if you can manage to keep them raked up, maybe that's the day that the kiddos need to go play at Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Right, exactly.
But then there's the fit that happens after you've put them away. It can always there's two sides to that story there. There's two sides. But using the tail end of those leaves to mulch with is great. It's important to make sure that you have dry leaves that you're mulching in. The great big leaves like cottonwood leaves, those are kind of rough to use as a mulch because they're leathery and they don't typically dry very well. Other leaves, though, most other leaves will do great, but cottonwood leaves are just a little bit, they're a little bit tougher as far as being able to use them.
Right. My neighbor has a great big catalpa tree, and their garden beds are gorgeous.
Yeah. Catalpas, they come flying out of the tree like
really
hubcaps, great big dry hubcaps. And they don't eat those guys out in it. I've got a catalpa tree that is wonderful to mulch my perennial bed with. I don't even do anything with them because they're kind of odd shaped when they fall out of the tree, and they just naturally make these really interesting pockets of air.
They do,
and they work great. It's lovely. So.
And Tyler's grandpa spent years upon years mulching his garden with the willow trees. They're the willow leaves.
Right.
From both his neighbor and his house. And that garden, when we first got there, was the darkest brown I have ever seen. It was gorgeous.
Right. Good, deep, earthy, just wonderful organic matter over time worked into the soil. It's a beautiful thing. All right, we are up against our final commercial break. If you've got a question, something on your mind, we hope you'll call us. Our number is 245-1100, 245-1100. Along with Bertie Bertroyce, I'm Mona Dyer. This is Garden Talk. We'll be right back.
What would make your backyard perfect? This is Jamie at the Brickyard. Our favorite thing to do is take your dreams and make them come true. Tell us what you want to do, and we can help find the right products from pavers and retaining walls and everything in between. Nothing brings the family together like a backyard barbecue. At the Brickyard, we have the perfect grill to make your next get-together one to remember. Whether you're looking for a gas grill, pellet grill, or big green egg, we have everything you need. From fire pits and grills to patios and outdoor kitchens, we're here to help you find what you need at the Brickyard in Grand Junction and Montrose.
Life's hard enough. It's even harder without a reliable car. KNZZ understands. We're teaming up with Antonelli's Advanced Automotive to let someone buy a car for $1, and you can help. That's right. Someone you nominate could win the chance to buy a solid, dependable used vehicle for $1. Just send us the name, age, and phone number of the person or family you're nominating, and tell us in 150 words or less why they deserve the car. Nominees must be 18 or older. Deadline is Friday, September 13th at midnight. For complete details, visit 1100knzz.com.
Switching is easy. State Farm Insurance Agent Eric Lesby can switch you over so you can start saving today. Eric and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. Just call Eric Lesby at 242-0156 when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
1100 KNZZ. Dependable weather.
Sunny Sunday, Grand Junction 92, Montrose 84. Partly cloudy overnight, 61. Mostly sunny Monday, slight chance of thunderstorms, 91.
Every moment counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. It can feel like a race against time. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, it's essential to know that you don't have to confront lung cancer alone. Through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. From screening, treatment, and survivorship support to finding the right care close to home, we are your community. As your friends, your guides, your teachers, your advocates, and your support system, GO2 is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit go2.org today.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude is hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because everything that's learned is shared all over the world. It's awesome.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Authorities have charged a 14-year-old boy with 4 counts of murder in this week's fatal shootings at a high school in Georgia. Colt Gray's father, Colin Gray, also has been charged. He's accused of knowingly allowing his son to possess a weapon and is the first parent in Georgia to face such charges following a school shooting. Boeing's first astronaut mission is finally over. The company's empty Starliner capsule landed safely in the New Mexico desert late Friday, with its 2 test pilots left behind at the International Space Station. NASA judged their return to be too risky and booked SpaceX to bring them home. Hiring by America's employers picked up somewhat in August compared to July's tepid pace, and the unemployment rate dipped for the first time since March, in a sign the job market may be cooling but remains sturdy. No telling how that may affect the Fed decision on interest rates in a couple weeks. This is SRN News.
Glenn Beck.
Is that a real person? You have no idea.
Weekday mornings at 7.
Sounding the alarm on the catastrophic risks posed by AI.
KNZZ.
Welcome back to Garden Talk with your hosts from Booklift Gardens since 1968, where we help you grow.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Along with Bertie Bertroyce, I'm Mona Dyer. We're talking about gardening, and if you've got a question, something on your mind, give us a call. Our number is 245-1100. We've got Paul on line 1. He's been waiting very patiently. Good morning, Paul. How can we help?
This is Tom. I bought some fruit trees from you last week, and I have planted them according to your instructions with a garden pep and fertilizer. And I was wondering, they're in an area where they do not receive sprinkler water. So I would like to know how often and how deep to water them.
Okay, so
I live down by the river, and it's very silty soil.
Okay, so here's what you want to do. I take it that you gave them a big drink of water when you planted them, just as
I
you were
haven't
told.
watered them since.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'd like to have you do today is go out, and I need for you to dig down in the backfill soil. Dig down for me about 4 inches, straight down in that backfill, and get a handful of the soil from 4 inches down. Make a fist with the soil that you've got in your hand and see how wet or dry that soil is. If it packs together and makes a ball, you don't need to water yet.
Okay.
What that will tell you, if it still is muddy and makes a ball, is that you don't have great drainage. The water isn't draining out of that hole compared to how much water went into the hole. What we try to get is the balance between the amount of water in the hole compared to what can drain back out into the native soil. All right? What you're looking for 4 inches down is soil that is damp side of dry, like a pie crust before it's rolled out, or if you've ever played with mortar, it'll make a very loose form, but if you touch it, it'll fall apart. That's ideal, 4 inches down, okay? So the number of days in between that great big drink of water and the damp side of dry, that becomes your water schedule, because the drainage out of that hole does not change.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. I can do that. Yeah, the soil, if you call it soil, it doesn't hold water at all. It goes straight through as though it's going to the water table.
Okay. So, you may get out there and it may be just dry. So if that's the case, give it a big soak of water, and then maybe in 5 days, check to see how wet or dry it is 4 inches down. What you're looking for is damp side of dry,
Gotcha.
the number of days after you've given it its big soak of water, and that becomes your watering schedule, because you're looking to keep that balance between dampness and still allowing the root system to be able to breathe in that fresh basin.
Right. Okay. Then one other question.
Okay.
I bought one of those Macintosh trees, and it says it's semi-self-pollinating.
Okay.
Now, okay, if I knew somebody who had a blooming apple tree, can I just take one of those branches and, kind of daub it around the bloom on my tree? Will that help it?
That's an interesting question. Steph, what do you think?
You necessarily don't need to borrow their tree branch when it's flowering. So long as you have a bee within 100 radius of 2 apple trees, they'll cross-pollinate.
Yeah, okay. Well, I only have one tree, that's the thing. And I was thinking about coming back and getting a gala, if there are any left, to help with the pollinating.
Right, and it's
Cross-pollinating,
right,
yeah.
and it's about having apple trees that are blooming at the same time and bees that are visiting back and forth.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you would suggest getting another tree?
I can't.
If you got the room.
Yeah, if you've got room, but technically even a crab apple is sufficient to cross pollinate an apple tree, as long as everybody is blooming at the same time.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you for your help.
All right, Tom. You have a great day. Thanks for the call.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Normally, any flower tree, if you have a cherry, if your neighbor has the blooming cherry, different species, or within 100 feet, so long as the bee has room to get from their tree to the next tree, both trees will be pollinated.
Interesting. I don't know. The whole birds and bees thing, it's wow. It's just, yeah. These little, they know what they're doing.
They do.
They know what they're doing. They know who their friends are. They know who they need to pal up with.
They do. They really do.
They really do. All right. So, and he brings up a good question as far as planting. This is a great time to plant things. Right now, because the soil is nice and warm, whether it's a tree or a shrub or whatever, they will settle into the ground and do just beautifully, because the root systems, they appreciate the nice warm soil. They also appreciate the fact that the high temperatures have kind of subsided. So the top of the tree isn't struggling against the high heat and the low humidity. The ground is nice and warm, and the roots can get a lovely little start moving forward, and the plants will just kind of settle in and just next spring take off as if they've always been there. One thing though with fall plantings, it is really important for us here in the valley to commit to watering once a month through winter, from the time that your irrigation gets shut off all the way through spring. Once a month drink of water really will set you up for success.
And I've been telling everybody, think of it as once a holiday comes, not only are you treating yourself to delicious food, go treat your plants to a delicious drink of water.
Right. I had a little grandpa one year tell me that he always does his winter water on holidays. And because at that point he had, and when we say winter water, we mean starting in October.
Right.
So he would go Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. He would go in January because he's got a grandbaby whose birthday's in January, and then Valentine's Day and St. Patty's Day. And he would go the day after those holidays. And I laughed. I said, so you water the day after cake? He said, yes, the day after cake. And he said the reason he does it that way is because he could never remember to put it down on a calendar, but he could always remember the day after cake. Okay, perfect.
I need a day after cake.
The day after cake.
Well, and you were talking about warm temperatures, the soil temperatures being nice and warm. Now is a perfect time to put winter crop in. If
Yes.
you want to get your, I don't know if it's too late for carrots, but you can at least get a good bunch of spinach or lettuce or some really delicious broccoli.
Yeah,
Those
arugula.
guys,
So,
arugula, yeah.
Right. And we've got seedlings. The nurseries have seedlings of broccoli and cauliflower right now. You could probably get away with some of the carrots, the little short guys.
Oh, there you go,
There
yeah.
are also the little round carrots that look like radishes.
Yes, those are so cute.
Are cool. Those are awesome. Radishes would work. Things that are shorter duration root crops would work just fine.
Oh, some delicious bok choy
Yep.
right out of the garden.
All of those things would be great to put in the ground right now, and still have plenty of time to before harvest clear up. Probably till maybe the 1st of December. Your cool season greens, your lettuces and spinach and things, I suspect that we'll probably be able to be harvesting those right up until the middle to latter part of December, because those particular crops will tolerate temperatures that are really, really cold. I've seen spinach and lettuce tolerate temperatures clear down to 19 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so if nothing else, just throw some lettuce and spinach seed down in places where maybe your summer crop it's time to kind of move on from that. Throw those crops down and have a little bit of extra gardening.
Do some snow peas.
Yep. If you are, maybe you're done with gardening, you don't want to. Maybe think about putting a cover crop down.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Maybe sprinkle some seeds, winter wheat, or find a mixture of seeds that could serve as a cover crop. Again, this is about having something over the top of the soil to keep the soil protected through the course of the cold season. Naked dirt is not beneficial to the creatures that live under the ground. If you have a way to keep live roots in the soil, that's a number one. That's a good thing. But if you don't want to do a cover crop, at least find a way to put something over the top of the ground so that the soil isn't naked.
Right.
It gets pounded by the weather, it gets pounded by the cold, and the lovely little microorganisms that live down in the soil, they get hungry and they'll move away. And if they move away, then your garden or your flower bed or whatever it is that you're growing in a particular area is going to have to start all over again when you do decide to go back in and replant something.
Right. Well, and another thought, if you don't want to grow your own crops or cold crop, we have a fridge full of it.
We do. We do have a fridge full of it. We do have our in-house market of produce. Right now we've got lettuce. We've got some field tomatoes. We have some amazing pears. And our friend Paige that we were bragging about driving the tractor, Paige is the lady that goes and does the acquisition of produce in different from different farms throughout Palisade and Orchard Mesa, East Orchard Mesa, and she's been doing a great job. She's found some amazing apples, and she's just running her little tail off. She's just awesome.
She's doing great.
Yep, she is. Let's see what else. Let's see. Time to think about modifying your water delivery in your yards. Think about watering longer but less frequently. It's time to start helping your plants think about going to sleep. Delivering the water for longer duration but less frequently is going to create more subsurface moisture down deeper, so that as we go on through winter, and we can't rely on moisture falling out of the sky for us, so having subsurface moisture kind of built up now will help us to be able to protect our plants a little better. The older, more established plants will be more protected moving forward. Well, there's our traveling music. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this morning. We're so happy to have you along with Bertie Bertroyce. I'm Mona Dyer. Come see us. We're at Bookcliff Gardens, 755 26th Road, a mile and a half north of First and Patterson. We're open until 5:30 tonight and tomorrow from 10 to 4. Take care.